Boys that I was tripping, kept the vision, I ain't even care. Now the just stop and stir, it took a while, but made it there. And I bought my sir, and my chain and chandelier. Double C Louis V, I swear to God, this all I wear. Boys that I was tripping, kept the vision, I was on a mission. Got the snakes around me, now they talking shit like call it hissing. So tripping too,
What's good? What's good, my Souls of Thought family? It's your boy Norris. I'm back with another weekly review. We're going to be talking about a lot of the things that happened last week. We're going to be talking about some big news when it comes to the NFL free agency. As you see, I'm repping my boys today. No good news for us, but good news for others. We're going to talk about a few things, some big stories in free agency. Then we're going to go on to talk about the LeBron and Stephen A. Smith confrontation or debate or whatever you want to call that. And we're going to listen to some Charleston White, man, kind of talk about the Dallas Metroplex area. And I know you guys seen on my last weekly review, we talked about Little Ronnie, the popular rapper here out in the Dallas Metroplex who was shot along with his 5-year-old daughter. So we're going to hear what Charleston White has to say a little bit about that. And then we dug up some files on a good old Jasmine Crockett. You know what I mean? So we're going to be talking about her as per usual. We're going to see what some other people have to say about her as well. And then we're going to close the show out today just talking about the alcohol being taken off of the Canadian shelves and why I feel that it's not a big deal, but some people do. So again, before you get going, if you're here today and you're watching, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, make sure you share this with a friend. Again, it's going to be a good show. We're going to talk about some other topics other than just government topics. We're going to talk about some, trending topics. And, most importantly, we're going to talk about some sports because that's where my heart really lies. Let you guys know that the Cowboys have done nothing in the offseason. I don't know how that's going to impact us, good or bad. I know some people feel that us not getting or going after Myles Garrett was something that we should have done, and it could affect us in the long run. With that being said, I want to say we did sign, I think it's Marquise or Markel Bell, whatever his name is. He was on our practice squad late last year. He was a player that had some troubles here and there, but we're just going to get right to it, man. Some breaking news in NFL free agency. And here we go.
And I want to show you what we got here with Ian Rappaport.
It is.
The Seahawks
How you doing, sir?
have their new QB.
Yeah,
it is,
great
in
to work
fact,
with you.
going to be Sam Darnold. Ian Rappaport has been on this all day and for weeks, I would assume, trying to figure out where Sam Darnold was going to end up. And now we have an idea. All right, Ian, lay it out for us, man.
Sources tell the insiders that Sam Darnold is closing in on a deal to land with the Seattle Seahawks. Traded Geno Smith a couple days ago, now expected to land Sam Darnold, according to me, Mike, and Tom. This is a deal that should land 3 years, close to $100 million. And look, Sam Darnold has been the favorite for the Seahawks for some time. Ever since they traded Geno, all eyes have shifted there. And for Darnold, this is really the perfect storm. Seattle has needed a quarterback. They have always liked him. He is, I would say, obviously younger than Geno, and certainly someone who put his best football on the field being coached by the Vikings and Kevin O'Connell and Wes Phillips and the entire Viking staff last year. The Seahawks have seen it. They have watched him grow. They have seen the best football, and he is now expected to be their quarterback again. Sam Darnold expected to land with the Seahawks, according to me, Mike, and Tom. A massive shift in the quarterback world.
Way to work, Ian. That is a big-time deal right there for Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks. And I know you guys have been following that all along. Excellent work by you and the insiders right there. Okay, so just to give you some more context on what Darnold has meant over the last year to the Vikings and what he might mean now for the Seattle Seahawks. Let's talk about this for just a minute here. Okay, so in your opinion, Dave, like why is Darnold?
So as you see it there, you got Sam Darnold. Darnold was just signed to the he was just signed to the Seattle Seahawks. I don't think it was a good move, to be honest with you. I feel that Sam Darnold is now going to become the new Kirk Cousins of the league. He's going to be that type of quarterback that's going to have great regular seasons. He's going to do very well until it's time to talk new contracts, and then teams are going to be willing to trade him. But every time he gets traded, he's going to get these max deals. You can't hate the guy. He has great regular season. He crumbled in the postseason against Lions, things of that nature. He just agreed to a 3-year contract, nearly worth $100 million. This guy, if he can have 2 good regular seasons, because you have to remember DK Metcalf just left the Seahawks and he just went to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that means that Sam Darnold is now going to be rebuilding with Seattle. They let Geno go to Las Vegas Raiders. So this first year, even if he has a decent year, it won't be held against him. So you're looking at an easy, probably 25 to 30 million he's going to pocket, regardless what his season looks like. Then next year, depending on what they build around him, what they get out of the draft, he'll pocket probably another 30 to 25 million. So this guy's going to leave Seattle with at least 50 to 60 million, regardless how things look. We'll see a little bit more when they talk about his contract breakdown. But again, best of luck to Sam Darnold. I don't think it's a good fit for him. Again, he's going into a franchise that does not have what he really needs. He needs people behind him. He needs receivers. He needs running back. But we'll see. Maybe they're going to draft correctly. We will see. But Sam Darnold had a great regular season with the Minnesota Vikings. And as you see, they let him go. And it looks like Kirk Cousins might be getting let go in Atlanta. Who knows where he might end up? He might end up in Cleveland. Also some other free agency news. You guys know I've said the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Browns were able to hold and maintain Myles Garrett there, which could be a good or bad deal too. But he's now the highest paid player outside of a quarterback position. It's like, the guy has great stats. He does what he needs to do every season. It's a good thing for the Browns, but we now need to see if they're going to put what they need around him. Again, Kirk Cousins could end up in Cleveland. It'll be a cheaper financial investment for them, along with not knowing what you're going to do with Deshaun Watson. So we'll see there. Or they could also draft either Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. So we'll see. Also, like I mentioned before, DK Metcalf just went to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Great pickup for Pittsburgh. They already had another great receiver out there as well, along with Russell Wilson. Looks like the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go Russell Wilson's route. Justin Fields just got picked up by the Jets. So as you can see, there's a lot of moving parts going around right now in the NFL. My Cowboys are doing nothing. But that's nothing new now at this point, if you're a Cowboys fan. So it's just one of those things that if we really want to be competitive, we're going to have to really pick this up in the offseason. We'll see where Aaron Rodgers is going to end up. Looks like he still wants to play another season. Aaron Rodgers will be a great fit for the Cleveland Browns, in my opinion, if you're looking for a 1 year just to see if Deshaun Watson's going to come back healthy, get a veteran quarterback, someone who can really deal with it. They got good people around them. They got a great tight end in Njoku. They got great receivers, a great running back as long as Chubb can stay healthy. The Browns have an amazing defense. So great place for Aaron Rodgers. With that being said, also Washington the Washington Commanders, man, I don't know what y'all doing. We gave them Deebo Samuels. San Francisco gave them Deebo Samuels. This is the same team who almost made it to the Super Bowl this year with a rookie quarterback. You gave them Deebo Samuels. And then also they re-signed Ertz. So they got their tight end. They re-signed a couple veterans. So they're staying strong, man. They're keeping the team together. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when it comes to the NFL free agency. But it's a lot of moving parts. Palmer from the San Diego Chargers, or is it the Los Angeles Chargers? What are they now? Whatever they are. From the Chargers, he went on to I forgot who just picked him up. who just picked up him. I'll get back to you guys, but somebody just picked him up as well. So that was a good pickup. I want to say he went to San Francisco. I have to look this up real quick. Let's see where he went. I want to say Palmer. Let's see where Palmer went. Palmer, Georgia. Yeah. Joshua Palmer. Yeah, he just went to the Buffalo Bills. So they just gave Josh Allen another weapon to make him more dangerous. Big receiver, 6'1", had 39 receptions, 584 yards, 1 touchdown. Great target to go along with Keon Coleman and Amari Cooper. The Bills are building up. Washington is doing their thing as well. So it's just one of those things to really look out for. The league is really going to be a good season next year. I want to say the Houston Texans let go their top tackle, Tonsil. They let him go. So it's a lot of moving parts. Justin Fields looks like he's about to make $40 million with the Jets. The Eagles are trading Pickett to the Browns, so it looks like the Browns are going for Pickett as their quarterback, or at least to see what they're going to do before Deshaun Watson comes back. So just looks good, man. The Cardinals got Sweat from the Eagles, so people are making a lot of good moves, a lot of big changes right now. You got to really be on the lookout. Josh Dobbs agreed to a 2-year deal with the New England Patriots. So they're loading up too, just to get like a backup quarterback, things of that nature. They said the Patriots could go get Travis Hunter. So just something to think about, man. I think free agency is going well. Not going well for my Cowboys, but like I said, nothing surprises me there when it comes to them. So, and as we're talking about sports, we all know in sports, there's always drama. There's always something going on. And last week, I don't know if you weren't paying attention, Stephen A. Smith and LeBron had their confrontation. With everything that was going on. So we're going to talk about that a little bit here. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. So here we have Stephen A. talking about his confrontation with LeBron James. And so here we go.
Incredible game last night in LA. You were in the building, and we'll get to what that means for the Lakers and Knicks in just a moment. But S.A., there was a moment in the game that we want to address.
That was LeBron James coming up to me, unexpectedly, I might add, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son. Can't repeat the words because they ain't suited for FCC airwaves. That's what he was doing. I thought long and hard about this over the last few hours because I had no intentions, Molly, of talking about this at all.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because it was a one-on-one, I wouldn't say a conversation, but it was a one-on-one confrontation. But then I wake up and everybody from ESPN and my agent and everybody else were sending me that this thing had gone viral. And so ultimately it was unavoidable. And that is why I have to discuss it now. That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a wonderful father who cares very, very deeply about his son. And based on some of the comments that he had heard, or shall I say, I think he thought he heard, he clearly took exception to some of the things that he heard me say, and he confronted me about it. For the record, his agent and friend, Rich Paul, has my number. Maverick Carter, who works under him, has my number. LeBron James knows how to get in contact with me if he wanted to. He never called, because had he called and wanted to talk to me, I would have accepted that call. Had he wanted to see me, I would have flown out and I would have seen him and I would have had a conversation man to man. But that is not what he elected to do. Instead, he elected to confront me while I was sitting courtside. Ari Emanuel, the head of William Morris Endeavor, one of the agencies that represents me, along with Larry David, was sitting courtside. I was with them for the game. And he walked right up to me and he said what he had to say. And apparently he feels like I was slighting his son. Now let me tell you what I feel. What I would have said if we were in a different environment, because I was not going to engage in a confrontation at that particular moment in that setting. But if we had that conversation, I would have said to LeBron James, I never would speak negatively about your son. I was talking about you, meaning you, LeBron James. I have nothing but the best wishes for Bronny James. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that he flourishes into an NBA star. Usually in other sports, we see all-stars, and on occasion, we'll see their children become stars as well. That doesn't really happen with the NBA. I sincerely hope he's the exception. By all accounts, he's a wonderful kid. And I don't know anybody who roots against him, and it certainly isn't me. But in the same breath, at the time that we were talking about him, he was percolating to such a degree that the Bronny James stories had gone viral.
So as you see there, Stephen A was very professional with how he wanted to address the issue between him and LeBron James. I would love for you guys to put in the comments how you guys felt about that. Do you feel like that was appropriate for LeBron James to approach Stephen A? How do you guys feel about that? My opinion on it is this. Why does LeBron want Bronny to have a different type of, see the word I want to put on this, a different type of NBA experience than all other star athletes or people who have the potential to be a star? Because if Daddy LeBron wasn't in the league and Bronny was a star, he'll still be going through this criticism regardless. But we also have to understand that you have to be able to deal with criticism. You have to be able to deal with the negative, the good, the positive, the bad, everything. You have to be able to push through that if you're going to be a star. We haven't seen Bronny say anything really about anything. So I feel like, as Stephen A said, it's something that they could have spoke about separately. I don't think it was something that needed to be actually approached in that manner. With that being said, again, maybe it'll be different if it was one of my children and I was in that predicament. But I feel that comes to this, what they say, to the victor comes the spoils and all that type of stuff. But he has to do better, man. You have to control your emotions. That's not the place or the time to do that. And I also think LeBron did that to show some form of dominance, but he also knew nothing would happen to him in that environment. He felt comfortable enough in that environment to approach Stephen A. Smith. And that's really what it was about. I don't think that he could articulate or speak to Stephen A. As you can see, Stephen A. is very good at choosing his words, understanding how he wants to go by conversations. And I can say this, because sometimes Stephen A. say some crazy stuff, but he has never disrespected Bronny. He always felt that the pedestal that LeBron James was putting Bronny on is what actually brought all the attention to Bronny. Because if you guys look back at last year, LeBron actually made a statement about Bronny could be better than most of the 12th man on the bench, and he can come in and do better than some of the people who are starting in the league today. So he just put that pressure. Then he also put the pressure on the franchise, because he then, after those comments, said that he's willing to go wherever Bronny's picked because he wants to play with his son. So a lot of these things he did bring to the forefront for Bronny. I feel Bronny is having a great G League season. He's doing great with the G League. I know they didn't bring him up for the Boston game and the Phoenix game before that. I think they're going to be very sparing about when he plays. I think if the Lakers make the playoffs, you will see a lot of Bronny James. And the reason for that is just, I think, due to the wear and tear that LeBron and Luka are about to put on their bodies to make this last push for the playoffs so that they're not in that round of like playing around, trying to play into the playoffs. I think they're going to try to become either, just get a seed. They just don't want to have to do the playoff play-in. So I think you're going to see a lot of Bronny James when it comes to the postseason of the Lakers. Like Stephen A. said, hope his progression goes well. I hope all good things for the young man. I mean, we joked a lot on my vet shooting game with my boy Young and Durant. We joked a lot, but I told them, like, I felt Bronny could play with some of the people in the league. And I felt that, like, he wouldn't be a scorer, but he'll be a great defender. He'll be that type of guy that can add to the Lakers roster. And, I think that's what he's going to be able to do in the postseason. But I will say this, that we have to learn how to separate our emotions from reality. And I feel that LeBron James will look back on this moment, and he'll probably address it one day. He probably won't address it while the season's going on, but he'll probably jump on some podcast, or maybe Rich Paul will speak on their behalf. But, he's doing what a father would do, but he has to understand when you're in that Lakers jersey, you're not a father, you're an NBA player. So, but I felt Stephen A. handled it well. And, we have to get out of this black on black crime, man. We got to stop treating each other the way that, we don't want to be treated by the other people. And as we talk about black on black crime, Mr. Charleston White on Say Cheese actually had a great outlook on what happened to the rapper in Fort Worth that was just shot, Little Ronnie, the one who lost his life along with his 5-year-old daughter. So we're going to talk about that a little bit here and hear what he had to say about that. So let's see here.
And his baby died with him. Shit, I was speechless. Yeah, I was speechless. So I was speechless.
And it's documented too. I mean, I know Goyeo, great friend. But you are also in the news because you've been trying to combat this whole drill movement that's been going on for years.
Yeah. Well, he's associated with Hood Fame and Goyeo now. Now them on the gangster shit. I always have been. Even though you ain't on the gangster shit, you're guilty by association. So you might as well be on the gangster. If you hanging with the gangster niggas on the gangster shit, you gotta be on gangster shit because you're guilty by association. And he's closely intertwined and connected to it. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, he go, yeah, your right hand man. Or his big brother, so to say. From my understanding, nigga, Chucky come with Lil Zach now. So they go way back. So you guilty by association. But when I saw the video, I said, man, them some kids that killed him.
Yeah.
Them some babies.
Most definitely.
And come to find out, it's some babies. Some babies that come through my organization that I done work with. Knew them little from the area. So knowing what I know, this is a long-standing situation. Between the ape gangs and the hood fame, nigga, it's been a divide in this city since these niggas been in elementary school. Ape gang started as a group of elementary kids. Hood fame out of middle school kids. So these cliques that started when they clicked up in gang as kids. That's when I come about. So I've been their rival. I've been their opponent since they've been in school, huh? Most of these know me from the juvenile detention center, mid-level, JD Hall, the alternative school. Most of these know me from working with them in crossing their path through the juvenile system. So I've been having my thumb on this pulse for a minute. That was my fight with the Fort Worth Independent School District. My 40, go, boom. When I saw that video and it wasn't number kids in there with guns, and then I started following the rise of Go Yayo. So no, man. No. This is near and dear to me. We made the news behind this. This is how I became in tour with the streets in this city. The Crip and Blood. Because I'm saying these y'all kids in they gang. So you got Crips and Bloods in the same gang together. Most of the OG that was doing the doctor, these was y'all kids and y'all nephews that's just doing this shit. So that's how I started fighting with the street. So
we're gonna play a little bit of this. He actually is gonna drop a lot of great information throughout this interview, and he actually talks a lot about the education system in the Fort Worth. I think it's the independent school district. How this rapper that he's talking about actually went viral, and the school system actually started allowing this guy to like come out to the schools for like their pep rallies and stuff and perform this song that had so much violence in it. And he said it was like one of the first videos that had like a lot of guns and children holding guns. But this is one of the big things that we don't talk about is the black on black crime in communities. We're starting to continue to see it more and more. People don't like to talk about it. We only really bring it up when there's a black life lost by a white person or to a white person. With that being said, is that if we continue this vicious cycle, this is what we're going to continue to see. He's going to actually talk about too as well the suburban areas, and a lot of people aren't aware, but if you're from the Dallas Metroplex area, a lot of the suburban areas actually have become some of the most violent areas, and he explains why as well.
When I seen this, and I know we know who done the shooting. The name just coming up that's doing the shooting.
Yeah, they identified the shooters, but they haven't. I guess people in Fort Worth may know, but
yeah,
publicly they haven't released the name yet.
And this was a kid who everybody had on the internet. This was a kid that made the internet rapping. I cussed out his mama. This the little kid talking me to everybody be posting this, and he ain't gangster.
The shooter.
He was hanging with J-Dub, and he was hanging. So now these were murderous children. J-Dub was a serial killer. He had 2 funerals. So it's been a beef within our city. This ain't the first baby that done got killed behind what these niggas done. This ain't the first baby that done died in Fort Worth, Texas. This ain't the first father that done died with his baby.
And he's going to get into some very impactful details. And I think this is something very unique because he starts to explain that the world only shows us when it's someone that we feel is popular or someone that we feel has impacted the culture in some type of way. That's the only time you hear about these things, but it's innocent children being killed every day. And we're so busy worried about alcohol coming off the shelves in Canada. We're so concerned about DEI. We're so concerned about Targets and Costco's. But where are the pastors? Where is Jamal Bryant when you got this 5-year-old daughter who was just killed last week? Where is Al Sharpton when you have this 5-year-old kid that was killed? Where is Ben Crump when you see these type of killings? See, we only see people when they want to make money off of a family or when it seems fit. But then you have people who really are in the community who continue to see these vicious cycles, and we don't talk about that. And I really appreciate this. I know a lot of times Charleston White can go viral for the wrong reasons, but he always has some type of substance within his videos. We just get caught up in the character that he plays. But I always tell people there's a message even in the mess. So
just last year on the Southwest side, they shot up some shit, and two babies died at a car wash with their dad. It was just last year. This ain't new. But because he's a popular rapper, the same baby that's being accused of shooting it went to juvie for shooting a 2-year-old in the Buttercups. This ain't the first time a baby done got shot. But because it's a rapper and he's a popular rapper and he's a well-liked rapper, now it's, oh man, this is sad. This ain't sad. This is normal. This ain't new. If you remember 7 years ago in Chicago, a man was getting into it with some niggas online. They beefing online. He go to the McDonald's drive-thru. They kill his baby in the drive-thru. It was all on social media. It wasn't no backlash, and they went online bragging about killing the baby. It wasn't no backlash for that. So this is the time Charleston come out and say, man, I keep telling y'all, I told y'all, this is where y'all become hypocritical. Because we have an obsession with entertainers and rappers and street niggas. We love them. But the common man and they baby can die every day, and we don't have this same level of emotional response or compassion.
And that is so true. And that's why when you guys hear my rants and I'm going off even about politics and things of that nature, it's because I look at things from the everyday person. You guys look at everything from the big picture of what social media wants you to see. And, you know, for myself, I grew up in the ghetto. I grew up in the hood. Anybody who watched this, if you go look up 2000 Grimmett Drive, apartment 1815, you know what I mean? In the Northwood apartments, we grew up in the hood. You had Northwood apartments, Grimmett Drive apartments, and then right in our backyard was Cherokee Park. All three, 2 apartment complexes, and then a whole community behind us. It was all different gangs, all different crimes. We've seen so much death that we have started to normalize it. And it's so unique to me that we aren't seeing people talk about these things. And you can't say that it's because it happened in Dallas, and because this made major news. This rapper Lil Ronnie made it all the way to the Breakfast Club. So people are aware of this, but you're not seeing anyone talk about this. If we can take all the energy that we use to go into Costco's with Al Sharpton and go into these communities and support these young children who continue to see nothing but death and see it as a vicious cycle, you can't talk to me about nothing, because that's where change starts. And as he mentioned, these are little kids who are now adults, but they were raised by other murderers in the city, things of that nature. And he's going to go on to say a few more things. I'm going to play a little bit more because he gets in depth, and I really thought that he did a great job breaking down the community and the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
Our neighbor, our own cousins, our own brother, our own aunties. So I'm saying, man, yeah, it's sad. But as angry as y'all think y'all is, this happen all the time, homie. And I hear people say, women and children off limits. Those have never been the rules. Who told y'all that women and children are off limits in the streets? That ain't never been the case. You can go back to the roaring 20s when the Italian mafia first come into America during the Prohibition era. Women and children have always been the casualty, because all they say, if we can't get you, we'll go get them. The cartel will go get them. So who told y'all that women and children are off limits? Remember we started gang banging, y'all? And they started doing drive-bys, and you would go shoot up somebody's house not knowing who was in there. Children and women got shot then, people. We kicked in his door. We took his main honey. Kill both. I'm looking at rape. I'm looking at kidnap. It's in the lyrics. It's in the movies. So I just want to let people know there are no official rules. There is no real rule book to the streets. These rules are made up as they go along. There are no rules. The rule is it ain't no rule. It ain't no rules to do wrong. Man, children off limits. No, they're not. Because I know some to get your kids if they can't get you. It's done been done before. That's what started the war between the Jamaicans and Dallas back in the day. When the Jamaicans went and killed the woman and the children. That's how the war broke off and started.
Let me ask you this. Does Fort Worth, does it get more dangerous after this, or does the authorities tighten up?
It's already been dangerous.
But do authorities tighten up? Because now this is worldwide news. You said it's a rapper now, so now it's a high profile case, and it's a kid. Do authorities tighten up, or does the streets get crazy this summer?
The authorities don't tighten up. They're desensitized to this.
And that's what I keep saying. If we want to change our narrative, you got to pull up your pants. You got to stop killing each other. You got to stop doing snatch and grabs at these jewelry stores. We are the only people who can save our community. These police officers, they responding to the scene, putting their little placards down for the shell casings, wrapping off the scene. They don't care. They go home and sleep well. They make sure they ain't living in these areas. Some of them are commuting hours in so they can come to work and then go home to a safe suburban area. We are the only people that can end this cycle. We are the only ones that can end this cycle. It starts with us. But we spend our time again. I know you guys, if you watch me a lot, you're going to continue to hear this quote from Malcolm X. We are in the middle of the ocean worrying about the people in the tub. And that's what you're seeing here. There's 1 million young minority African-American children out here living in poverty in their own inner cities, living through crime, having to walk around, worrying about what's going to happen if their mama or daddy is in the streets. Those are the kids that we need to be touching and saving. And if you look up the history of Charleston White, that's what he lives his life on. We get caught up in the YouTube antics of Charleston White, but if you start looking at what he's done for the community of Dallas-Fort Worth, he's done a lot, and he's invested a lot into the community. That's why he could come on here and talk all this crazy stuff, because the people who really know him in the city knows what he's done for the city.
This don't move them because they see it more often than we do. We only see it when it's publicized. They see it when it don't get no attention. They've been watching this beef, homie. They don't watch all these kids grow up just like you. When they get the killers, it's hard for, homie, when they catch the killers and the killers are babies, it's hard for you to be outraged. We're in a legislative session in Texas right now. When we done that interview with that young lady who killed that kid who was trying to break into the house, homie, we propelled that lady into a national spotlight. She's now in Austin with a law that's being passed with her name on it, that people who live in apartment complexes who rent property can no longer be evicted for protecting themselves with a gun. She got a law change because of her experience. Nobody's gonna do nothing about this. These young niggas are already warring and killing. I'm almost willing to believe this is what the police department wants. But I know some people who work in the police department. I know some people that run the violent intervention prevention program out of Fort Worth, Texas. I know their spirits, I know their hearts, and I know this ain't what they want. But nigga, ain't nothing nobody can do because it just didn't start today. These seeds was sown when these was elementary school. How you gonna come uproot that shit?
And what he's saying is that's the same vitriol that people have about slavery, right? We're so dedicated to the 400 years that our ancestors went through that we'll boycott, we'll stand on things, we'll do all these things, but we don't do the same thing for these kids who have been indoctrinated literally into lives of crime. We have to learn where to put our energy in. And then when you're looked as a black man, when you looked as a person who thinks conservatively, you're called every name in the book. But it's usually people like myself or other people who are actually giving back to these communities, who are actually looking out for these children. Because you all know, if you do follow anything about Charles and White, he is conservative. I'm sure he voted for Trump. But that's not really important, because what's the most important thing is I want us to start understanding that where are the people when we need them? Because we need them within the cities. We don't need to fight these big fights. We will never change what's going on at the White House. We'll never stop government shutdowns. We need to stop worrying about liquor going off the shelves in Canada. We need to stop worrying about where you're spending your money at Costco's or what you're doing. What we need to be concerned about is what's going on in your community. What are you doing in the grassroots areas of your community?
The roots of this, man.
You said the city went against you when you were trying to go against the Fort Worth drill shit, and now you said you're not trying to make it about you, but you've been trying to warn people, and people were entertained with it for years, and then now everybody's upset because of shit that they helped.
But this is what I want to tell people, because it's Lil Ronnie. And Lil Ronnie is a well-liked individual, great personality, good-spirited, good-natured, popular guy, well-liked and likable. So it's easy to hurt with him and for him. But it was a kid that died with Go Yayo in Houston. Lil Brandon. He was a kid. This ain't I'm saying, homie, they shot up a house. Another kid was killed on the couch. Its children have been dying in this city for 12 years or longer due to the youth rap violence. I ain't gonna say but this.
So as you can see, Charleston White is definitely well versed in what's going on in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Shout out to Charleston White. I know everybody doesn't like him, like his opinions, but I've always been for us trying to do better in our own communities. And it shouldn't take celebrities or what local celebrities, because I don't know how popular he was. I never heard of the guy until he passed away along with his daughter. And they go on to talk a lot about a lot more items, including, the rapper Yayo going to schools in the Fort Worth area, performing at pep rallies, to this song that he came out with. Goes on to talk about the suburban areas, why they're becoming so violent. The reason why he said they're becoming so violent is because Forest Hill used to be a great area. My homeboy B, we used to go there all the time when we traveled back and forth from Louisiana to Texas. His parents used to live there, but they moved. So Forest Hill was a great area. Net was real quiet, no violence. But now that area has become a little bit more rougher. And he talks about the reason why is because now your rappers or your gang members, what happens is they end up meeting young ladies or females in that area. They have children that they want to get their kids out of the hood. So then the children and they'll move to this suburban area. But what happens is that crime continues to follow that person, and it moves and infiltrates into the suburban area. And then that area just becomes another high crime area, because you can't escape the karma and everything that's about to come with the person and what goes on. So again, as we continue to fight for all these useless fights, when it comes to politics and everything that's going on there. I want people to understand that there's a lot of other fights that we can be fighting instead. And we're going to go on because we have to talk about everything that goes on. So we're going to move on to the next topic. I don't know if you guys seen Jasmine Crockett. A video actually came out about her, how she acted prior to, getting elected in this representative seat. So we're going to shout out to the Carter family. We're going to show you a little bit of their video and their thoughts on Jasmine Crockett. And I'm going to kind of give my opinions as well. So we're going to be talking about good old Jasmine Crockett here. So let's see here.
Here. This is crazy, bro. She's doing the chick that's drunk at the club face. What is she doing here? This is the ratchet tongue. She's doing the ratchet tongue, bro. The ratchet tongue, man. Y'all don't remember when Cardi B was doing that fucking shit on Vine all the time? Yes, the ratchet tongue. Folks, we gotta do better, man. Like, this was something that kids would do. Like, her children. You feel me? Like, why are you guys up doing this type of stuff and you guys are supposed to be elected? She's supposed to be an elected official. Like an elected person, right? Or a person that works in the government. Shouldn't she be working with more maturity? Like, this is crazy, bro. But like I said, it's so many of y'all out there that saw this and was like, oh yeah, you go, girl. Not realizing how bad this makes us look when it comes to being like a politician and running the country and stuff like this. Like, when you have a mature mind and you're a leader and all of that stuff, you're not even thinking about doing no shit like this. You ain't got time for it, bro. What if Trump came out with some shit like this, bro? Oh my gosh, that would be crazy, bro. That would be crazy. But I'm done. I want to hear from y'all. Are you guys enthralled by this? Like, are you guys enthused, happy? Is this exciting for you? Is this awesome? Is this tea? Or I don't know what y'all call it nowadays, but is this something good to y'all? Y'all let me know if I'm tripping or if I'm reaching. Please, the ins and outs.
You're not tripping, brother.
I agree with what he's saying. Imagine these being your elected officials. Like, no other demographic got their elected officials dancing and hooting and hollering.
Oh, has Jasmine Crockett got exposed all over X lately? It's been getting bad. So turns out Jasmine not even from the hood. Like she make it seem like.
Bro, you think a person from the hood is smart enough to go to law school and graduate?
Yes, brother.
I'd say maybe 5% of them.
I think you might be delusional. It might be 0.5% of them, maybe 0.2, maybe 5. Anyway, yeah. Anyways, we ain't gonna. But I mean, hey, man, this is just another black politician acting like she black from the Democrat Party. We already know who did that.
She puts on this act, and I've said it before. When she talks smart and slow and articulate, I don't think she's that bad. But when she get to hooting and hollering and ooh.
We have a video where she turns it on and off. But like, why do they do that? Like her and Kamala did the same exact shit.
Kamala not even black. Well, the fact that she's black and she acts like that is what disturbs me. That's what pisses me off. I don't give a damn what Kamala do. Do whatever you want to.
She went to a school that had tuition. Wow. That is insane.
Tuition?
Yeah.
That's something you have to ask yourself too. Why, when you don't have to go through the things that most black people go through, the struggle, some people would call it what is it? What do they call it? Something race. I'll get it. But why do we want to go through the struggle? And then for the ones who don't go through the struggle, that want to be pro-black or blackity black, like Jasmine Crockett, we then revert back to the things that we pretty much stayed away from. You're finna hear in just a second, she went to a very, expensive private school. It's not like she grew up in the hood. She didn't have to go through the struggles that other black people went through. But it seems like she uses that to get on the side of black people instead of using her intelligence to push the black community forward. So
yes,
private 35,000 a year.
She cringes me so much. Jasmine Crockett just cringes me.
Hold on. She went to a private school with tuition.
Yes,
most private schools have tuition.
But
Damn,
that's
that's private.
If we want to be technical, you know, hey,
That's
you
more
got
than-
you
that's
got
a-
more privilege than me.
I know what
shawty.
you're gonna say, brother.
I'm not,
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. That's more than it costs for me to go to UL out of state tuition.
So she don't even know what it's really like.
I didn't even pay tuition, but that was more than what it was when I saw my tuition waiver go on there.
35,000.
That's a lot of money.
Then we scream about oppression. You was able to have a school tuition,
Bro, it seemed like a lot of people, they got a lot of money. They the ones screaming oppression. You don't know the niggas are the problem.
She went to a private school college, $55,000 a year.
I'm not gonna lie, but that happens
Was she
a
on
lot.
scholarship though? Do we know?
I mean, look, I
she-
don't matter, bro. I'm gonna keep it 100. That
That's a
happens
lot
a
of
lot.
money.
A lot of people that are come up financially good. They're trying to go back to their roots. Like I know a lot of people that grew up in predominantly white areas in the suburbs. Then they try to go to HBCUs and shit like that. Just to they need trying to be with their people and shit like this. Oh, black people, they oppressed.
And it's crazy to me because my dad and mom wanted to get us out of the hood. They worked their hard earned. They put all their sweat and tears to get us out of the hood. And I'm so glad that they did. I'm glad that we didn't look backwards, that my mom and dad looked it forward to know that if we want our children to get the best opportunity or have the best opportunity to succeed, we have to get them in a better environment. And that is no knock on anybody, because it's the same in white communities too. There's poor white people who live in trailers and want to do better for themselves, and their mom and dad work hard and they get them out of those areas, get them into. I went to a magnet program. I had to take almost an hour bus ride every day. So 2 hours on the bus there and back to go to a school called Herndon Magnet, where you had to test into it. I didn't go to the local schools like Dunn and Bickham and Caddo Middle Magnet, all that stuff. Like I didn't go to those schools. I went to a magnet program from pretty much my first grade all the way through the 8th grade. And that really changed my life. It showed me a lot about people. It's probably the reason I'm the way I am today. I had we were in a predominantly white high school, middle school, and elementary, but I never, and I could speak for myself only, I never experienced one single episode of racism. I never been called the N-word. I never had white friends who used the N-word around me or felt that it was okay to use the N-word around me. And we grew up in Louisiana in the Bible Belt, where I can see in the far distance in North Market where they were burning crosses. And we also had a whites-only barbershop in our city called Razors. And I think the barbershop is still there. I don't know if the whites only sign is still there. So I do not understand that. And it's funny that when you get a different outlook on life and you choose to live a better life, or you have conservative outputs, that then people want to call you Uncle Tom. I don't have to forget about slavery because I didn't go through slavery. Am I aware of my history? I am. But I can't let the past dictate my future. You can't look back and try to move forward. You're going to fall every time.
And they down, but nigga, you ain't never been in the hood. You don't know what niggas go through.
But to argue the counterpoint,
I don't even think you have to be from the hood to know what.
Yeah, they got probably family members.
I'm gonna say you don't have to be from the hood. You still black.
I'm gonna keep it 100 though, bro.
Y'all
know how I grew up. I did not grow up in the hood. I grew up in a mixed family. Dad from Ghana. I went to private school and elementary school. And when I was older, I thought the same thing about black people, because that is what you're taught to think, though, bro. You see what I'm saying? Like, if everybody who's black is telling you that the things that we talk about every day, it's a culture problem. That's why people who are not from the hood and do these things to act like they're from the hood, or not even that, but just go right, like all the things you were just saying. They do that because they feel like it makes them more black.
I'm gonna keep it
gives them the
100.
approval of people.
I'm gonna keep it 100, man. I grew up in the hood till I was in like 3rd grade. We had bullet holes in my back window. Then we moved to the suburb, and I realized something. My houses that my friends in the hood had versus the houses that my friends had when I moved to the suburb, there was a night and day difference. And I remember when I started to get older, I started to make a decision. I said, what life do I want to have when I get older? This one or that one?
Simple.
And I just made a decision. I said, well, I know all that ghetto hood shit is going to give me that life, and the suburban shit is going to give me this life.
And it's just what we just talked about with Charleston White, right? It's so funny how we want to stay stuck and stagnant in the same systems that has shown us the result. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, is insanity. It's a clear definition of insanity. But that's what we would choose to continue to latch on to. And we feel like it's like we feel like it's like a trophy or something we're winning. Like, why would you want to stay in the hood when you know that your parents and everybody worked hard to get you where you need to be? It just doesn't make sense. And now you guys are going to see, look at that Jasmine Crockett with that fresh wig in, or what you want to call a weave with a fresh perm laid to the side. That young lady right there, you can tell she was dressed, trying to learn and become part of a system. And then when she became part of a system, she changed up. She went backwards instead of forward, like she was moving.
Well, this is an easy choice for me. Shit,
The
that was an
subculture.
easy choice for me.
Thomas Sowell, he summed the whole thing up.
It makes it really
It
worse
was
to me.
And she
though.
embraces the subculture, even though she doesn't actually live in the subculture. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is an example of a successful Black woman. She don't have to,
But like, bro,
I keep it
it's
100.
enabling to do that. To
I gotta keep it 100. My mom is from the hood and she's a lawyer, self-made, had her own practice, all that. She does not act like this at all. My mother and her are in the same sorority.
Because she really from that, and she not. That's what makes it worse. If you're not from that, stop acting like you're from that.
So as we can see, there's a lot more people who understand that Jasmine Crockett is putting on a cloak. She's coming out the booth like Superman for the Democratic Party, but then she goes home and it's not really her. But we allow people to continue to make money off of being blackly black, acting like they really standing up for us, acting like they have our best interests in mind when they don't. And that's what we're going to continue to do if you continue to fall into that space. Again, I'm cool with people feeling the way they feel about me and my thoughts. But again, like I say all the time, I can swim. Even though I'm in the middle of the ocean, I ain't worried about those people in the tub, man. So we must do better. You guys can follow Jasmine Crockett if you want, but it's not a good move. Just not a good move. And why would you want to follow somebody who never had to go through what you went through, but act like they went through what you went through? Jasmine Crockett is not like us. So as we end this show, we're going to talk a little bit about the last thing that a lot of people were concerned about. Right now, you guys know that we have the tariffs going on. We have all this, these things going on with the different, I guess you can call it, what would I like to call it? Tariffs going on with the Canadians. We took our tariffs up because they had the same tariffs as well, and they're taking alcohol off the American alcohol off their shelves. I'm going to play a little bit of this video for you before we close out, and then I also want to give you guys a very quick synopsis of what some of the other American alcohol people think about this.
Finding a bottle from Napa Valley will be impossible for the majority of Canadians. Provincial governments are holding their ground on not bringing in U.S. booze.
We will not cast that aside in response to a threat of economic pressure from a foreign government, even an historically friendly one.
The back and forth on there's tariffs, there's not tariffs, we're pausing tariffs, we're changing tariffs. I think it's really, really hard on Canadians.
It's off the shelves, and it will stay off the shelves until these tariffs are gone.
Despite U.S. President Donald Trump extending tariffs on Canadian goods by another month, premiers say the uncertainty is enough to stop the orders coming in from south of the border. Jack Daniel's parent company saying pulling stock from the shelves is an escalation, but that Canadian purchases only make up 1% of its total sales, and it will be able to withstand the blow. While the American liquor industry is echoing calls to the White House to remove trade barriers, it's not pleased by the escalation.
It's an unfortunate and unnecessary ramp up that doesn't do right by the provinces because they bring in a lot of tax revenue.
Prior to the rift, Canadians were accustomed to spending on American brands. The 4 Atlantic provinces see more than $90 million spent on U.S. booze yearly.
So we're not going to stay on this too long. As you can see, Canada is no longer going to sell American liquor on their shelves until they feel that the tariffs are gone. It's not going to happen. As you heard from Jack Daniels, that's what I was going to actually provide for you guys. Makes up less than 1% of their purchases. And we all know that they're only hurting their customer base in Canada. Those people who enjoy American alcohol and liquor, they're just going to go online and order from the distributor. I think we forget about sometimes that just because things aren't in a store doesn't mean that the purchases still won't happen. All you have to do is go online. You know how many times people have gone online to purchase the things that they need? Everything is not always in a store. And I want to shout out my cousin who actually sent this over. I wasn't as well versed about what was going on when she first talked about it, but now I understand what was going on because I really wasn't focused on these type of things when it comes to the tariffs in Canada. They just need to become the 51st state, and we can leave it as that. But I'm gonna tell you this: America is way bigger than that one little. I don't even know the province of Canada, or whatever you want to call it. With that being said, I want people to really understand that when it comes to showing power as a united front, it's certain things that are going to have to be done. We're going to go through some uncomfortable times these next few years because we're trying to re-establish our dominance. And when it comes war, when it comes dominance, there's going to be some things that make you feel uncomfortable. But with change comes uncomfortability. So just be aware of that. Don't get so locked up on what this stuff is. As I mentioned, to me, and I could be wrong, but to me, them taking the alcohol off their shelves is no different than us not going to support Costco's or support Target or support Amazon. We're taking money out of American pockets anyway by doing all our little boycotts. So what's really the big difference here? So you guys can still enjoy your spirits. Just go online. You can order off of Jack Daniels. You can order all these alcohols offline if you need to, if alcohol is that important to you anyway. Again, I hope everybody liked this episode. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe button. Just make sure that you interact with these videos. We're going to continue to come at you. Don't forget this Wednesday, we have the live panel that we do called Grown Folks Business. So we'll be going live Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll be going again live at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time with Grown Folks Business. Make sure you tune in to there. We'll be hitting some of these topics, but we're going to be hitting a lot of relationship topics as well. So you can hear other people's opinion besides myself. Again, I appreciate everyone who continues to support. Even the negative comments, we love them too. Keep them coming. Thank you for your support on those last two videos about Pastor Jamal Bryant. We got a lot of amazing views. That video really went viral. We appreciate it. Continue to support the channel. As I leave every show, make sure that you know that God loves you, which is most importantly. I love you. You're beautiful, and your boy's out. Let go.